I come to the floor because I'm greatly concerned as to whether the Department of Justice is committed to fighting the violent crime committed by the gang known as MS-13. MS-13 is a violent gang that operates on the streets of the United States and throughout Mexico and Central America. MS-13's informal model is, can you believe this, kill, steal, rape, and control. Under the Trump administration, the department established a task force to fight the murders and other serious crimes committed by MS-13 gang members. But the Department of Justice hasn't released any news or updates on this task force, called Task Force Vulcan, since way back January 14th this year. Right before President Biden's inauguration is when that January 14th date was. So you can see we haven't seen anything since this president's been sworn in. So we have no idea what the Department of Justice is doing to combat MS-13. From 2017 to 2020, U.S. Customs and Border Protection found or arrested over 3 million people, averaging about 750,000 people a year. In that same time period, Border Patrol apprehended an average of 294 MS-13 gang members every year. This year, however, Customs Border Patrol has already encountered or arrested over 1.2 million, well above the previous averages. But this year, Customs Border Patrol has only apprehended 61 MS-13 members trying to enter the United States, suggesting many dangerous MS-13 gang members are successfully sneaking past Border Patrol as agents are focused on dealing with unaccompanied children at the border or asylum seekers. One Border Patrol chief in Laredo stated that MS-13 members are using the high number of migrants entering the U.S. to blend in and get past agents. We know MS-13 is still trying to sneak into the country. However, they're just more successful now. Customs Border Patrol is still arresting MS-13 members when they can identify them. In April alone, the Customs Border Patrol arrested an MS-13 member who was a convicted felon with an outstanding warrant, and one female MS-13 member traveling with a convicted murderer. Here next to the Capitol, police in Maryland arrested an MS-13 member after he lured a 15-year-old girl into an apartment and tried to rape her. So even if Border Patrol agents in the field and local police are doing their best to stop MS-13, we still don't know what the Department of Justice is doing about MS-13 since they haven't released any updates on the task force Vulcan since January. We don't even know if Task Force Vulcan still exists. This is a problem because we know MS-13 is ruthlessly operating on American streets, and Congress and the American people deserve to know what the Department of Justice is doing to keep our streets safe and to keep us safe from dangerous criminal organizations like MS-13. So I will be seeking answers to this question from the Department of Justice. It's a pretty basic question. Do you have anything to update the American people about? We should know what the status of all this is. Then on another matter, Mr. President, President Biden and his allies in Congress are chomping at the bit to grease the wheels for a partisan $3.5 trillion spending spree before they leave for the August break. At the time when our national debt is set to exceed levels not seen since World War II, this is not only irresponsible, but dangerous. Hardworking Americans are already paying the price for excess spending in the form of inflation, with prices rising throughout the economy. And of course, poll after poll shows Americans are becoming increasingly concerned about inflation. Instead of adding to these concerns in the pursuit of wish list priorities, Congress should focus on addressing the real priorities of the American people. For instance, we should be taking action to address the crisis at our southern border. In June, U.S. Customs and Border Protection encountered 188,000 people. That's up 471% from the same time last year. As a result of the Biden's administration irresponsible immigration policies, Customs and Border Patrol has encountered over 1 1/10 million illegal immigrants at the southern border during this fiscal year. That's 5 times larger than the population of Iowa's capital city, Des Moines. The crisis is undeniable, but Senate Democrats are trying hard to deny it. Instead of taking action to secure our borders and deter illegal immigration, Senate Democrats are attempting to use reckless tax and spending bill to offer amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants living in the United States. It's deeply irresponsible. It'll only encourage more of this illegal immigration, and it'll only make the border crisis worse. Illegal immigration isn't the only crime cascading over the border. Mexican cartels are pouring record high amounts of hard drugs, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, across the border with impunity. Fentanyl has become the choice drug because it's highly potent and, of course, highly profitable, particularly for the cartels. A tiny amount, even as small as a grain of salt, can result in overdose and, of course, in death. Fentanyl is increasingly laced into other drugs, which heightens potency, often without the user even knowing it. In 2020, over 93,000 Americans died from drug overdoses. That's almost the entire population of Davenport, Iowa. The primary driver of this surge is overdose deaths, is fentanyl coming in from Mexico. Instead of working on curbing cartels at the border and cutting off their extensive power in the United States, Senate Democrats choose to bury their heads in the sand and pretend that fentanyl isn't deadly. The border crisis is then, very obviously, a drug crisis. And on top of that, police departments across the country are still having a hard time getting enough officers. Violent crime is soaring. Homicide rates are through the roof. Iowa families don't redecorate their houses when the plumbing is leaking. These issues are dinner table issues. So Congress must focus on them instead of reckless and partisan spending proposals that's going on in the United States Senate now by the majority party.